All right, welcome back to In the Hunt. I'm doing the intro.
Welcome back. It just started.
Shut up! We're trying to get some,
John's doing the intro,
mystique.
Greg.
Trying to do some mystique. Maybe
What are we
Greg isn't
back from a
here.
commercial break or something? Hey, thanks for that message from Radio Shack. Go to them.
It was
for
a
all your
short
stereo
week.
needs.
Yeah, I wanted to be like Kyle's here, and who's this third guest?
Oh,
Is Greg here? Is it Aaron Lewis from Stained?
yeah.
No, Greg's back, baby.
It has not been a while since I did the podcast. I didn't watch though.
Did you really not watch the game?
It's amazing if you tape a game and you're trying to avoid the score. It's like impossible. You're gonna find out shit. You're gonna just like someone will walk down your street and scream, "Damn it, Quentin Morris!" You'll find out something. If you just don't care and just do other shit, you can go a long time without finding out who won the Bills game. And I did. Wait. I mean, I know who won, and I read Joe B's recap, so I wasn't in here not knowing anything. So I know quite a bit, but I didn't watch it.
So wait, you didn't go back and watch. I thought you were saying you taped it to watch later.
God.
But
could you imagine not watching the game?
It's 12 minutes of football. You could knock that out in a fucking bathroom break.
Yeah, but I guess if I didn't know, I'd watch it and it would be the same anxiety, just over 12 minutes instead of 3 hours. Right. But if I did know, I don't care how it happened. It's like if someone gives me a cake, I don't need to watch them make it. Yeah. I'll just eat the cake.
I'm kind of the same way. I don't get the taping sports to me is live. Mm-hmm. Like I just tell me the score at that point. I don't want to record it and then watch it later.
It's miserable. I used to live in my mid-20s. I had a roommate that was
2 years ago.
That was in college with me at the time, and he had classes at night. So when Sabres games would go, he would get home at like 8:30, and he would DVR the games. And so I would have to rewatch the first and second period. And I was like, it made me so mad, but it was his TV. You know how common areas go. It made me so fucking mad that I had to sit there and watch. I just wanted to be like, every time he walked in, I wanted to be like, it's 1-0.
Yeah,
we're in.
It's 1-0. Put on the third. Let's go. Let's watch it as a team. Yeah.
As soon as he walks in, just scream the score, the assist, and any major news, and then he can't.
So, I mean, do we want to do, Greg, do you want to address the people? We had an outpouring of emails, X's.
Derek.
We had Patreon numbers went up.
Derek, no, absolutely not, Derek. Dude, put it down. Get your tier back down. You are not doing the Joby tier. I just hate sports. I wasn't looking for cries of help or for people to grab the Joby tier, the Patreon. Derek, don't do it. We're going to forcibly take him off the Joby tier. We'll give him all the perks and benefits. But yes, no, absolutely not. No, with that Joby tier.
But we might be the only podcast that hates money. You know, we've been offered money from corporations and said no. And we were like, hey, no thanks. We were offered free shit again, and we said no thanks. We're the dumbest fucking people in the world.
But I love that about us.
What the fuck is wrong with us?
I love that about us.
Not me, by the way. I want to say I'm on board. You want to give me anything, give me it, and I will say whatever you need me to say. Greg, on the other hand, is like, if I read one ad, people will kill my family.
But I think we could say Greg, as he said last week, loves us, loves the pod, loves the listeners. Maybe not loves the pod, loves the listeners, and sometimes needs to take a Buffalo sports break, maybe even a pod break. But you'll show up here and there, or maybe the whole thing. You're here now.
I've missed 0 pods since I quit the pod for the 11th time.
Exactly.
And it's not. I don't want to. I don't.
We don't got to talk about this every episode.
I just didn't watch the Sabres or the Bills this week. We'll see what happens from here.
You need that sometimes.
Look how happy you are.
Yeah, I've never seen you frown slightly less more often.
Yeah. You are in some kind of just void space, which I feel like is how your brain feels every day. You're just sitting in a white room alone.
he's filming Avatar 3. It looks like.
The sound in here is great. I'm in my work studio. We shoot commercials and stuff in this studio. So this is the place I can go where my coworkers don't have to hear me in my cubicle screaming about, I don't know, Quentin Morris or something like that. So it's a quiet place at work.
Typical us. It's been 5 minutes. We haven't talked anything about the game. We should start with the big news, Kyle. Those Bills special teams. I mean, blocked field goal. Hardy looks solid as a returner. Martin had some good punts and a bad one late that he kind of fucked up. But, pretty good. Are they back?
Yeah, I just want to clear up. You never brag about punts. Good or bad, you never brag about a punt. No, I barely even noticed. I just think Hardy looked cool running.
Yeah. I mean, you say that about me too. What's going on in the corner there, Kyle?
No, I thought it sounded like someone was walking in my house, but
it's Greg.
My apartment. I literally was like, I'm gonna have to fight somebody on Zoom and then be like, hey guys, just hold on.
if Kyle gets murdered,
I'd be emailing you later. Kyle, the audio's all fucked up with the fight. Did you?
If Kyle gets murdered during the pod, we don't have to finish the episode.
That's our golden rule. If one of us dies, the pod, that's the only way to stop the pod. Someone has to die.
Stop us. That's right.
Sacrificial,
unless the person that murders one of us takes the spot, like just starts spitting hot takes.
They are really good. They murder me, and then he hops in. And he's like, what's going on here? And you guys are just like, talking about the Bills. He's like, did you see that Dalton Kincaid out there? You're like, let me hear what you gotta say.
Sorry about murdering Kyle, but let me give you an idea. 13 personnel, 4 tight ends.
Jim the murderer is our new number 3, and he's just like, within 5 minutes, he's like, yeah, I gotta tweet it a game here.
It's all QAnon shit.
No, yeah, it was all good. Hardy looked fun back there. I feel like I haven't seen a punt return, that many punt returns in maybe years. Everything seems to be, I mean, there were multiple penalties, so a lot of it did matter. But
the big news is the offense finally looked pretty good. And most importantly, they got some secondary weapons involved. Shakir probably his best game. Kincaid probably his best game. Gabe Davis had a bunch of looks. Cook was effective, and most importantly, Allen scrambled, which is like, I don't think we necessarily need designed Allen runs, but man, most of the season it felt like he was barely taken off with the ball, and you just need him to scramble twice a game to make the defense honest, and it's a huge deal. Like, he picked up a lot of important yards scrambling today.
I read that like Shakir had like 6 catches and Davis and Diggs had like 9, and that there was like Allen had more runs than he had in a long time. And I feel like that would make you super happy. Like, that's what everyone wanted, but there's just no way in hell it'll ever happen again. Like, that's the Bills. Like, you'll get teased by something in a game they barely won, but oh wow, that's if they just do that, that'd be amazing. If they there's zero chance that their next game those things happen again. Like, there's zero chance Dalton Kincaid has more than 2 catches for 8 yards next week. It won't happen. It can't, right? Am I wrong about that?
That would not shock me.
I loved to get into the bone towns of the game here. Any Khalil Shakir catch, I was on board, just because it was so amazing to watch a slot receiver make plays. We haven't seen it in a year and a half. And it was so great to watch the slot receiver be a slot receiver and Allen trust him. I mean, this legit might be Shakir's defining moment. Like, according to this game, you get a shot for the next few weeks. Like, that might be the replacement that this offense needed, was a legit wide receiver slot, not a big slot or whatever the fuck they were calling Kincaid.
Big slot.
Mine is that long run.
Of guys.
That
Super
long
slotty.
that long run he had where he kind of smashed through some players near the sideline. That was nice.
Shakir smashed through people.
He
smashed.
through some
He's a little
people.
tiny guy. Kyle doesn't even respect him.
Well,
he's like 5'1".
He's
He's
slotty,
slotty,
so
yeah.
he runs through a lot of guys. When you're
You don't have to
slotty, you
have-
run through a lot of guys.
You don't have to have the height if you're a little slotty. We're gonna let that happen.
I'll give a secondary boner because Greg didn't watch the game.
You
so
can
I
have
could-
my boner.
I'll,
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
My boner was
Ooh.
not watching.
We can
the game.
hand out boners to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, that's
Hold
really
my boner
what
for a second.
that's really what what's the thing called when we give what we've been giving out a lot
Olive
these
branch.
olive
Space
branch.
docking. Oh,
Boner branch.
Yeah.
Space.
that's when we bring our plays of the game together.
Like avatars.
Yes, like
Man.
avatars. I see you, Kyle. I see you.
we didn't talk about last week. Maybe one of the best plays I've seen this season in that stinker of a game in New England was that Diggs touchdown. We caught it and like stayed on his feet and then like walked into the end zone. That was pretty awesome.
Did it count?
That happened when?
Last week.
Wait, why are we talking about last week?
Because I
didn't watch this game.
You didn't watch this game, so
I was like, wait a minute.
I'm giving Greg's boner from last week. I'm just saying that play was incredible. That was probably a better play than anything in this game.
Mhm.
Even though
We did go the entire 45 minutes or whatever last week, and I don't think we talked about a play.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
I just wanted to bring it up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
Dad,
no,
what do you want to talk
no,
about?
That's great.
You're right
I was
in
agreeing
that
with you.
you should apologize
Yeah.
because you threw me off, and we're not on last week. We are past that. If we
Hold
bring
on.
up the
Let
Pats
me
game
let me
again,
text
Greg
that guy
is gonna
to let me text that guy that he should murder you. Hold on. Go upstairs. He's potting now. Okay.
It was like we were talking about. Perfect offense, could have scored more. I'm almost convinced, Greg, it's a good thing you didn't watch this game, first off, because let me say this, something Sean and I haven't brought up. 3 punts on 4th and 2 or shorter, and 2, I believe, were in our territory. And the game was close.
They had 4 4th and 5 and under in the second half where they could have put them away. And they weren't all slam dunks. One was like a 4th and 5, I think. They were all around the Tampa 40, but like they could have went for one of those and just put the game away. And man, there is something to be said with the McDermott teams love not putting teams away. I know they have blown out a bunch of teams, but like there is this turning point in a lot of games where it's like, hey, you could put your boot on this team's neck and kill them, or punt, play some defense. And like it just seems like we've said it so many times throughout the years, but he gets conservative at the wrong times. And this game should not have been close.
Yeah. Also, Greg, aside from that, it wasn't just a punt. They didn't just trot out the punt team and you're like, oh, they're punting. 3 fucking times they tried to do the jump. 3 fucking times, Greg.
I can't.
I had to watch that 3 times. That wasted 45 seconds of my fucking life. I will die sooner because he tried to get people to jump 3 different fucking times.
The only sooner.
Hopefully he is actually a genius and he's saving for the Super Bowl. The second time he does it, like they just snap the ball and go for it. When teams are just like giving up by the fact that they do that thing where they try and drop you off. They're never going to go for it. No one ever jumps offside and just snap the ball and fall forward for a first down because the team just knows you're not going to snap the ball. Just do it once.
I usually, if I'm not watching the Bills game, I'm watching Red Zone. So I don't watch a lot of like full other games. God damn it, that would be a good stat to know how many other teams do that per game of it's 4th and 3. We're going to try to get someone to go for it. I know other teams do. I'm not oblivious to that. But 3 times in a game is wild.
So the worst part about that whole trying to draw people off sides and no going for it is how it ties me into this team in the drought area with EJ Manuel, because he was like a good single barker. So whenever I think of trying to draw teams off, I think of EJ Manuel and how Jerron just loved that trying to draw people off sides thing with EJ Manuel. And it's sad.
talking about this game being close, Godwin could have caught that Hail Mary at the end. Like, it was close. You could argue there was maybe some holding even on that play. And as Greg has said before, football's so stupid that, like, Jordan Phillips, we had him dead to rights, Greg. We're sacking them. We're up by 14 maybe at the time. And Jordan Phillips just kind of grabbed Baker's face mask as he was
on
putting
the
him on
way.
the turf.
Baker was like
he was
curled
falling
up, giving up as he should have. And Phillips, for no reason at all, lifts his hand, goes down his helmet into his face mask, and for no reason, he was falling.
It's a dumb penalty, but probably just in the heat of the moment, that's where his hand went. Dumb penalty, but like if he didn't do that, the game would have been
and also the not his fault. Again, that was after McDermott punted what Sean said 4 times on a 4th down that they could have. If they convert one of those, that game is probably a 2-score game.
He's pretty useless though, the Jordan Phillips.
He seems to still be like pretty decent at penetrating, but that man cannot stop the run, which is crazy. You think if you get in the backfield easy, I guess that's
just apply it to running games. Do the same thing you do to get the quarterback, but just go a little to the right and get the running back. So you're lined up, you're going to get by your guy. Instead of looking for the quarterback, look for the running back. Why is that so hard? Why can't he just do that?
I'll tweet him. They're missing. They didn't have amazing success running the ball. They had some good chunk runs, but man, I'm telling you, they face a better team than the Buccaneers. When they face the Eagles, Swift legitimately might have 400 yards rushing. They're having a tough time.
Well, that's why I talk about this. It'll be interesting to see this our last episode before the trade deadline. Last year they made 2 trades for Hines and Marlowe.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta think they're gonna make, even if they're small ones, I think I would almost guarantee they get a big defensive tackle to replace Daquan Jones, because they don't have that replacement. We thought they did with Poona Ford. He doesn't seem to be it. So it would shock me if they don't get a defensive tackle. And then of course they could get like maybe a cornerback, maybe I don't know, maybe a linebacker, maybe an offensive tackle as depth, it'd be interesting to see what they do. There's obviously the Devontae Adams trade rumors. I don't buy that. Derrick Henry makes a little more sense with Harris being out, but like, you have the personnel on offense. I'm not too worried about that. Get some people to replace your injuries on defense, and let's see what happens.
If they got a defensive tackle in Devontae Adams, I would do 2 pods.
I don't think, again, unless there's this huge change in philosophy on offense, because Dawson Knox, by the way, Greg, this is crazy. Dawson Knox was the only tight end on the team last night.
You mean Dalton Kincaid?
Or Dalton Kincaid, sorry. Dawson Knox obviously out. And
that is crazy, because they have like practice squad people.
Quentin Morris inactive.
Yeah.
He was the only tight end. I assume Reggie Gilliam was the backup, who was the fullback, but he was the only tight end on the team, which was a little bizarre, you would think. But also Josh Norman active and Kaiir Elam inactive. Josh Norman, who has just signed off the couch and did not play football last year.
And is 55 years old. A lot of people don't know that.
He's roughly 55 years old, and he fucking is active over Kaiir Elam, which is, so at this point, just release Elam for his own good. You're ruining the young man's life.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't traded. They traded up to get Elam. Isn't that they'd say they traded up to get him, and they're like, this guy doesn't
listen.
fit.
If they could get they get a 6th for Zach Moss, you could get a 5th for Elam. You know what I mean? Like, they traded Zach Moss for a piece. That's wild.
Unless the other team has a screen to watch film. It's like, this guy runs away from the receiver.
Well, Moss looked pretty below average here and has been great in Indy so far. And I think Elam could be the person who's
That's what I'm saying.
fits in the
You
right
gotta
defense.
ship him out.
There's got to be a team with a fit, and they're just waiting. Maybe instead of like, maybe a team's already offered a fifth, and they're holding out for a fourth. But you'd think,
or they're trying to get a thing where they're trying to get a different cornerback, or they're trying to get a defensive tackle.
Yeah,
like
they
they're
did
going to
that
make at
once.
least. I think they're going to make at least 2 trades.
What was it? They made a trade with the Eagles. I think they did 2 different trades. One was cornerback Darby Jackson. Was that his name?
LaShawn McCoy.
Ronald Darby.
Ronald Darby, and they got who's the cornerback that went the other way? I can't remember, but they did a cornerback for cornerback trade before. Or am I just smoking dope?
I don't remember that at all.
Matter.
Although Darby did get traded. That is true.
I think to the Eagles, and I can't remember who came this way. Someone's yelling at their phone right now. The name of it. Thank you for yelling that out. I can't hear you. This is in the past. I can't know it. Just know that by the time you're listening to this, I'll have looked it up, and I do know. That's right. Okay, that is the name. Yes, the one that you yelled out at your phone.
It's good news that we all have this thing called the internet we could look up. Cornerback Ronald Darby in exchange for wide receiver Jordan Matthews and a 3rd-round pick.
That was it. It was Matthews for Darby. I thought it was a cornerback for cornerback.
Man, Jordan Matthews. Right. He stunk.
The entire receiving core stunk.
Speaking of things that don't stink, Revolver Records, Greg. I just got another message from Phil. We have another, purchase using the In the Hunt coupon. It's big.
We're putting money in your pocket, listener.
Oh, I was like, you talking to Phil?
Yeah, well, I mean, Phil's a good guy, so we are trying to put money in Phil's pocket. So not that we want our podcast to do well. Are you asking me to do the Revolver?
No, you know what? How
about
read? Kyle? You do the reading.
I'll do it. I'll be happy to. I love Revolver Records.
Buy a record from Revolver Records. You know how records spin?
Well, I'm not spinning you. This is a good deal.
They revolve. If you like records, the color of records, if you like the feel of them in your hands, you like flipping through records, just go flip through some records at Revolver Records. They have 4 locations: Revolver Records in Williamsville, Revolver Records in North Buffalo on Hurdle, Revolver Records on Elmwood, in the Elmwood Village near Lexington, I believe. And then Revolver Records East Aurora. You could go out there.
Revolver Records Beirut. 5th location, just in case. Actually, online you can technically.
If you're in Beirut. If you buy one online, if you're in Beirut, you probably use a VPN, I believe they're called.
Kyle, if you could say hi to our Beirut listeners.
Yes, please.
Oh no, you ain't getting me canceled.
What's wrong with the country? It exists and people there talk. Just say hi.
But I'm not testing those waters. And then, so if you go to revolverrecords.com, you could pick out a record and then use
Revolver Records Inc.
Incorporated. That's what Inc. stands for, Greg.
Just Inc. Yes, but just Revolver Records Inc.
I'm just telling you in case you didn't know. In case people thought it was INK, it's INC. And then you could use the promo code in the hunt 10. In the hunt 10, you get 10% off. And you make me happy, and then you feed Phil and his family.
There you go. Great. And we should also do a plug for the Patreon. A lot of good episodes up there. You could support for as little as $1 a month. And if you do $6 a month, you get 2 bonus episodes a month. Those are fun. Check those out.
The $1, by the way, to tell them what they get for $1.
Get Greg blogs. You
Weekly
get our love.
Greg blogs. And you just get what's on the mind of Greg.
Usually anything. Most of the times it's an apology. It's just a big long apology.
We do have, as mentioned earlier, we do have a new Joe B.
Derek that's not going to last. We're taking that down.
I'm just saying, Derek is our new Joe B. I didn't get a blurb from him in time, but we'll give him 2 blurbs next week. And we thank you for your service, Derek. As always, we think the Joe B thing is dumb, but we're glad for anyone to do it. We appreciate it, and we'll Greg's going to take you out to dinner.
That's very nice of you. Yes, I will buy you beers.
There
But
you go.
stop being the Joe B.
But Kyle will hang out with Kyle will save you from a fire, and then Greg will give you a beer.
And make you a commercial in this spacious studio.
Before we get to the question game, we got a little news info. Jonathan on X sent us. I don't know if you guys saw this. I did not know about this.
It's about earthworms.
It's not about earthworms.
Okay.
Sadly.
Well, then I'm not interested.
Oh, you're about to be, because Aaron Lewis from Stained.
Oh no.
He recently spelled out Trump 24 on an open field using the carcasses of 32 coyotes.
What?
So now what does that have to do with Trump?
Wait,
are coyotes and Donald Trump connected?
I don't know, but all I know is that when there's Stain news, we got to talk about it. And that's big Stain news. Their lead singer, he was hunting. He and his boys killed 32 coyotes. And they're like, what do we do with these bodies? We're going to make them spell Trump 24 and then take a picture of it. And that's what they did. And they put it on Instagram.
Is that pro-Trump, though? And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to create division within our listenership. But I don't know if 32 dead coyotes is I like this candidate or I don't like this candidate. I don't understand what that means.
I think it's meant to be pro, Greg.
It's pro?
Yeah.
Bunch of dead coyotes is pro. If I was running for an office, if I was going for the town supervisor of Wheatfield, New York, and I had a campaign and someone killed 32 coyotes and sent me a picture of their corpses strewn about, I would feel threatened. I would probably drop out of the race for Wheatfield town supervisor.
Is he the lead singer?
Yeah, Aaron Lewis.
Trump was the president.
Yes. Trump was the president. Aaron Lewis was
the
lead singer.
Trump still is the president.
Oh no.
Got him. Now I'm picturing Trump singing.
I'm looking up the picture.
Yeah, that's Tuition Freaky Friday.
People are saying it's been a while.
So
a lot of people are saying it. A lot of people are saying it's been a while. It has been quite some time. That's what people are saying.
Here's Aaron Lewis posted this on Facebook because, of course, it's Facebook. I don't even know. That's insane that celebrities, even whatever you may think, celebrity still has a Facebook that he actively uses. It's not, I will say it's not as big. The Trump 24 is not as big as what you're picturing. I was picturing a massive Trump 24. Maybe I was forgetting how big coyotes are, but it is not as big as I thought.
It's the saddest image I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is not fun to look at. I've heard coyotes are invasive, but 32 seems high.
I don't care.
I think maybe you get 5 a day and you got to skip a day in between.
I'm not anti-hunting. I don't care. 32 is a lot, but burning their corpses out any fashion to say anything. Use your words. Don't use your dead coyote carcasses.
Yeah. Are you saying use your words to the coyotes? Hey, get out of here.
That's right. Yeah. Should have voted coyotes. Should have voted coyotes for a candidate that didn't like hunting.
Oh, that's it. No. Those coyotes were only Biden supporters. He let the Trump
socialist coyotes is what those coyotes were. They were in a union.
So there's our Stained update, and now let's get into the trivia. Jersey on the line this week. Get yourself a nice Dawson Knox jersey.
Whoa, get him while they're hot. He's gone now.
Get him while they're hot. Wrist surgery, out a couple games.
This might be a turning point in his career, like I said with Shakir, where his broken wrist legitimately may have ended his career in Buffalo. Well, if they still perform this well, and Kincaid still has these amazing tight end games, they might be we're not paying you fucking $14 million next year.
Well, everyone was excited about the 12 personnel, Knox, Kincaid on the field at the same time, and that's been the thing they've been the least successful with. Partially, I think because neither of them are maybe amazing blockers or just whatever it is, whatever the situation is. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him going forward. But time for the trivia game. And as you guys know, the game was on Amazon Prime. So I am going to give each of you a TV show, and you have to tell me whether it's a real show on Amazon Prime or a show I made up. I will say, to make it, I didn't go crazy. They're all shows that are current Amazon Prime shows. Either they like just aired or they've been renewed for another season. So not old shows. Current shows, all English language. And we got 4 rounds. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I have Amazon Prime. I know of one show that exists on it. Okay. And that's it.
Okay, well, maybe you'll get that show. Greg, is the one show that you know exists, is it called The Summer I Turned Pretty?
Summer I Turned Pretty sounds like cute little romantic Instagram-y shit show. So yes.
Greg, that's correct. Good job.
Yes,
2 seasons already.
Boy, I quit. The pod came back and I still got it.
I mean, you're on a roll. It's Kyle's favorite show. That's why I didn't give it to him. So Kyle, your show.
It was the summer he was born for Kyle. The summer he turned pretty.
Thanks, Greg.
Your show.
It was also the summer I turned hard.
Those are sister shows. The summer Kyle turned pretty, and the summer Greg turned hard.
Off there.
Kyle, your show. Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls.
No, a whole show.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about? Just are they making them or finding them? What is going on?
Any way you can get them.
There's no way. This may have not been an Amazon show.
No, any show that's any show I made up is completely made up. Yeah.
Could be.
I'm gonna say no. Fuck, I don't think you could make that up. Yeah, it's a show.
Wow, you did such an about face. You said no so harshly.
Yeah.
And then you turned it over and got the correct answer.
I know. It was too much. I knew you wouldn't come up with that. And you're great at coming up with stuff.
Thank you.
But I think that one was too much.
Well, Greg, see if this is too much or not. The Summoning.
It's a stupid title, which makes me think it's a show, but let me think. The Summoning. God, that's a show because it's fucking terrible. Yes.
That is not a show. I made that up, Greg.
Damn it.
That's okay. Still 1-1. Kyle, you could take the lead here with Mirrored House.
That's worse than The Summoning.
Mirrored
House.
Yes.
That is not a show. That's made up. Fucker. Tied at 1 at the halfway point. Greg, your show, Upload.
Terrible. It's how good Sean is. They're terrible, but so is Hollywood. So that could be a show. What would that even be about? Upload. I'll bet you it's a reality show where you upload your stuff to it and they like live stream it. So yes, Upload's a show.
Greg, that is a show.
Yes.
Is that what it is? Sci-fi show. I think it's Mike Daniels from The Office, I think, did it. But that is a show. Greg, up 2-1. Kyle, you need this. Stop. I could see he's cheating. He's looking up all the Amazon shows.
He's probably just watching Upload. How can you stop?
Kyle, your show, Infinite Requiem, A Life in Space.
Yeah, that's a show.
That is not a show.
Yes, got him.
Got you again. Last round. Greg's up 2-1. Greg, if you get this, you win. Outer Range.
Oh, God. Outer Range sounds like that big show, the Yellowstone. So it's like horses and Old West 1800s. Outer Range could be like someone could have cobbled that together to compete with it. So I'll say yes.
That is a show. Good job, Greg. It stars Josh Brolin. It's a mystery thriller. I know nothing about it, but I think you would like it. I think it involves he finds a mysterious hole. And if there's one thing I know about Greg's, it's he loves holes in the ground.
Hey, if there's one thing about mystery holes for me, they don't stay mysteries for long because I explore the shit out of them.
So that show might be right up your alley, Kyle.
With my penis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it
now we get it. Kyle, the game's over, but let's see if you could save face. The terminal list.
Yes.
100%.
Yep,
That has to be.
Stars. It's a thriller starring Chris Pratt, but once again, Greg wins. I mean, you can't keep a good Greg down.
I win when I watch the terminal list. It's just 2 hours of people trying to get on a plane.
That's honest to God. I always like, oh, it's got something to do with planes.
Yeah. It's just them going from the gate to the customer service to try and get vouchers for free food because they missed their flight.
Well, next week, big game. Sunday night at Bengals. Wait, maybe we'll have some new players.
Chance I'm watching that game.
I was gonna go to it. I still might. Who knows? Crazier things have happened at Bengals Sunday night. Big game. When you have a game this big, you need a key to the game. And Kyle looks like he forgot to come up with one.
The key to the game is Greg has to watch the game. No. His energy is needed.
Yeah. I brought the energy.
Joe Burrow.
What is their record? It's probably like 6-1.
He might still be hurt. No, they're not. They had a rough patch, and Joe, I keep on wanting to call him Joe Buscaglia. Joe Burrow.
They're 3-3. They're not even that bad.
Ain't good, Greg.
Touche. Can't argue with that logic.
They lost to so far the Browns opening day, the Ravens, and the fucking Titans. And then they beat they beat the Cardinals and they barely beat the Seahawks.
Yikes. They have a big game though this week. They're at 49ers.
Yeah, that could change a lot.
Oh, and actually that's an interesting game. Purdy is hurt, so Darnold might start. And I would remember there was talk of like someone acquiring Darnold, like the Bills maybe getting Darnold as a backup or something like that. But he ended up getting the second job there.
Right.
The whole thing with Lance like not making it in San Francisco, wondering how that's going to take us. So now Darnold's starting. Some people think he's better than Purdy. He obviously has that first round pedigree. I'm just saying, if he does well,
saying stuff.
Purdy is coming off a bad game. He's had 2 questionable games in a row. So if Darnold shows well, you could have a little bit of a controversy there in San Francisco. I just want him to do well so they beat the Bengals. But
same.
No, that's fair.
And are you watching that game? Kill Joe Burrow.
Is that going to be the game you watch next week?
It's tough.
You don't watch many 49ers games.
No, so that's the tough thing about football too. Like you'll watch the Chiefs play and you'll watch them sputter around for 3 quarters and then just win. They just win, and that's just as frustrating as watching the Bills lose. So I don't know if I don't plan on watching any football. So
you know what I think Greg's going to do on Sunday? He's going to explore a hole.
I might. I have a bunch of. They took down a tree at my house. Can I tell you a funny story? So they took down a tree at my house, and so I have all this wood, and the tree had ants. We downed the tree, but there's tons of wood, and I've done this before a long time ago when I had a tree taken down like 15 years ago. I just chop it. Like I got a sledgehammer axe, and it's super therapeutic. I love doing it. And we burn the firewood at backyard fires. So I'm just chopping the firewood. And when you have wood just strewn about your yard, we're on a corner lot, people will ask you, hey, you keeping the wood? And yeah, I'm keeping the wood. I'm keeping the wood. So one of our neighbors was nice. Is like, keeping all the wood. I was like, I'm not going to, there's no way I'm going to burn all this wood. You can have some of the wood. So I'm out there chopping the wood. And I said, yeah, we'll just, you can have this much. And so he's like, fine. So he comes there. So I come home from work the one day, and the part of the pile of wood that I told him he can have is gone. And there's just 5 garbage bags on my lawn, like big, hefty garbage bags. And so the wood's gone. He just left 5 big garbage bags. I think it was the guy that I talked to. Someone may have just taken some wood because it was closer to the street, and they just left 5 giant garbage bags on my lawn. I have no explanation on why. It's just 5 big garbage bags full of like lawn and leaf shit.
Now, is it the front lawn or where the garbage?
I'm on a corner lot, so it's the side. So like the front of my house is on a busy street, and then the side of my house is on a quiet street. And that's the side that all the wood is on, and where they left the garbage bags. So you can just walk right in my yard I have a gated part where the dogs stay, but like this side is outside the gate. So people like when they're walking their dog, they'll leave shit on my lawn all the time and not pick it up. Whatever. I don't really care about that, but like leaving 5 giant garbage bags full of stuff is just weird. And I can't explain it. We were kind of like freaked out, like, because they're huge and like it just makes absolutely no sense why we have 5 giant garbage bags in our lawn.
Do you think it was a fan being like, this is what's going to happen if you don't do the
Quit
pod?
the pod. That's right. Yeah. Someone's like, hey, I'll give you something to do since you're not watching football. Throw this out for me.
Greg, I got a question. What's your shirt about? Why are there little pigs there?
No pigs, little fluffy little clouds. This is a bar in Vermont. They make their beer.
Oh.
So I supported them because they were hurt by the flooding in Vermont this year. Did you hear? So have you heard about this Vermont? There's some flooding in this Vermont. Why? All this water in Vermont.
We're really spinning our wheels at the end of this episode here. But Bengals game, what do you think? You think they win?
No. I think you know what? Until I see otherwise, I'll go with 51-10 recreation of last year's playoff games.
Is that this final score? I didn't watch the end of that one. Was it 51-10? That's interesting.
It should have been. It could have been if they wanted to.
Well, I'm nervous, but let me pick against the grain. Let me say the Bills win.
But you don't believe
that. Maybe I do. 24-14. They're gonna make some mild noise at the trade deadline. They're gonna get everyone hyped up, and they're gonna be back. Offense is on a roll. I don't know if I believe any of this. I'm trying to will it into existence, but
gotta do it.
You know, let's see.
I don't pick games, so whatever.
We'll just play whatever you picked from the last time.
Yeah. What did I say last week? Just play it back. I think the Bills will beat the Bengals.
All right. Well, that's our episode.
Hey, happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, happy Halloween. Greg, you going dressed as anything? Someone with no bone spurs?
Yes, I'm gonna go as a happy, healthy individual. I'm gonna try and walk like I'm not in constant pain.
Just carry around those bags.
That's
See
right.
what people think you are.
That's right. I'm just gonna carry around those bags.
Kyle, you have anything?
For the pod?
No, you going trick or treating?
Trick or treating?
No.
Hey, it's me, Kyle, from the pod.
I used to love when I became an adult and I would get arrested for trick or treating. I used to love handing out candy. You riff and raff with the little kids. They show up. You're like, "What are you? Ugly?" And then you get them out of there. You know what I mean? You get the cool ones. You give the Kit Kats. The shitty ones, you're like, "Here's a fucking jawbreaker or whatever."
And he punches them.
How tall are you? Under 6 feet? Here's a Whopper. Get out of my face.
No candy for anyone under 6 feet. It's very tough Halloween around that neighborhood. All right, that's it. I got to go back to work.
Yeah, happy Halloween. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week at the Bengals game. Probably be up Monday at some point. And sign up for the Patreon, revolverrecordsinc.com. Thanks. We love you. Sweeta. The Bills won.